I wasn't expecting this. A few days before the Super Bowl happens, Mutant Football League popped up again on Kickstarter, the rebirth of the Genesis game Mutant League Football. I say again because it was on Kickstarter back in 2013, but didn't hit its $750,000 funding goal. This time it's a much lower goal of $60,000. I have some questions about this, but I'll get into that later because you don't want to see me sitting at the title screen for 2 minutes. This is a sneak peek build, not a beta build or an alpha build. They put this together and they're sending out Steam codes to anybody who backs it, as well as a form link to give preliminary feedback and bug reports. As of now, it only lets you play one half instead of full games, and it has just 4 teams in it. 2 of them are parodies of the teams in the Super Bowl, the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots. Or in this case, the Deadlanta Vultures and the Nuked London Hatriots. The old Mutant League Football would parody certain team names and players, and that's certainly the case here as well. Going by the Kickstarter page, other teams include the Midway Mutants, the Grim Bay Attackers, and the Croakland Invaders. For the record, I'm running the game on the simple graphics setting. There was a brief period where I ran the game on the highest graphics setting, and you'll be able to tell when that is because of some frame drops and graphical glitches. That's partially the game and partially my PC, but more so my PC.
We're at Steak of America Stadium in Chuckett, South Carolina. The only place where you can eat barbecue while watching players get barbecued. I can't stop thinking about barbecue. Is it obvious? Barbecue. Good. Hi again, everyone. Grim Blitzrow here, along with the only guy to ever get cut from the league for testing positive for not taking enough steroids or growth hormones. Brickhead Mulligan.
Hey, there was a reason for that. I had to quit taking steroids. My nutsack was shrinking.
The controls are similar to Madden. Of course I say that, but I haven't touched a Madden game since 2013. For those not familiar with what MFL is based on, you play as a team of mutants, monsters, aliens, and/or robots, and play 7-on-7 football against another team of mutants, monsters, aliens, and/or robots. The fields are typically littered with hazards like landmines, buzzsaws, acid pits, lava flows, and the like. You win by either outscoring the opponent, or by annihilating their entire roster of players. See, players have health, and when they get hit by other players or hazards, it drops. If it runs out, they're out and get replaced by a reserve player. It's why when the playbook comes up, there's a roster counter at the bottom.
Oh, great catch! And that's a touchdown! Touchdown! I never looked that good dancing, and I have skin. The fans are looking a bit bored. After a quarter with no score, they're cheering on the refs. At least someone's moving the ball.
I played this using a PS4 controller, because at the moment, there isn't any keyboard support. For a PC game. It only supports PS4 and Xbox One controllers for now, but it's clear they favor the Xbox One controller because even when switching the prompts to the DualShock PS4 controller, the team selection screen still shows an Xbox One controller, and calling in-game audibles brings up a list of Xbox One controller prompts, which threw me off. The stars above certain players indicate star players. Duh. These are players who are much better than the generic fill-in guys, and they're typically modeled after NFL players. Though not all NFL parodies are star players. For example, the Falcons players Matt Ryan, Devontae Freeman, Mohamed Sanu, and Julio Jones are represented on the Vultures by Ratty Ice, a parody of Matt's nickname Matty Ice, Dementia Freakman, Mohammed Taboo, and Gulio Bones. For the Nuked London Hatriots, they have Bomb Shady at quarterback and Neon Spewis at running back.
He just gets killed!
Now with the quarterback out of the way, they can really go to work dismantling the rest of the team.
If there were any functioning brain cells before that hit, they're gone now. He's going to have the IQ of a rutabaga after that hit.
After each play, there's a brief window in which you can continue attacking other players after the play is over. Kind of like what NFL Blitz does, but here it allows you to whittle down health faster and take the opponent's key position players out of the game. I'd like to see more attack animations in the future, as well as other tackling animations, because it seems like I kept seeing the same kinds of players making the same kinds of tackles over and over. For the playbook, I'd like to see the view expanded a little. That way I could see more than 3 plays or formations at a time, either by making it a 2x2 grid or maybe 2x3. It would make sifting through the playbook easier as the timer only lasts 10 seconds. If you take too long, it forces you to line up with one of the plays that was displayed. I do love the dirty plays in this game though. These are plays in which you can severely damage the opposing team, either by having the running back swing around a chainsaw at would-be tacklers, having a defensive lineman become a giant and crush everything in his path, or electrocuting a bunch of players, just to name a few.
Hot two, hot. I personally think the ginormous guy is compensating for something, but I won't be the one to tell him.
And he put on the afterburners after that catch and scored. Mostly down. I'll just assume that to orcs, this is arousing.
Sometimes offensive linemen are really slow at the start of a play to block someone, because I was regularly getting into the backfield and giving the quarterback my regards. I don't think it's just from me playing the lower rated team, because it happened against the Patriots too, and they're the top ranked team. And some rules just aren't implemented correctly. I don't have video of this, but at one point I picked up a fumble, ran 30 yards downfield, then tried to lateral to a teammate and missed. It was counted as an incomplete pass and then moved me back to where I picked up the fumble. The first part is, I think, a flag football rule, but the latter part, I have no idea what happened. At least they admit on the Kickstarter page that they're still working on getting the rules down pat.
The kicker should make this, but you know how it goes in this league.
That looked like the QB's fault. If he held the ball spikes out like he was supposed to, the kicker would have never missed.
Hey, speaking of rules, can I bribe the referees like in the old games? Because that would be nice. Now about that drastically lowered funding goal. After the first Kickstarter failed spectacularly, Michael Menheim, the guy who created Mutant League Football, went back to the drawing board and reworked his proposed design while teaming up with some developers from East Europe to form Digital Dreams, the group behind Carnivore's Dinosaur Hunter Reborn, a sequel to Carnivore's Dinosaur Hunter. The team listed on the new Kickstarter is vastly different from what was on the old one, which I'm sort of okay with, as it likely means Robomoto is out of the picture. And so far I can count the number of Robomoto games I enjoyed on no hands. On the old Kickstarter page it said they were going to use the engine of a game called Football Heroes, and preliminary game art looked like this, something like a violent but really cartoony Tecmo Bowl, sort of closer to the Mutant League cartoon than the games. Now the game looks much different, operating from the same viewpoint as the old Mutant League Football and using 3D graphics on the Unity engine. And because I know the engine raises some red flags, here's a list of decent games made using the Unity engine. As they already have the base of the game worked out, they're saying it's about 75% complete. Their page states that raising funds would go toward finishing online play, balancing the game, adding more teams, tricks, and voiceovers, and generally improving how well it looks. Who knows, maybe if this works out, they'll bring back Mutant League Hockey as well.
At the end of quarter 2, it's a blowout. We now go to our halftime show sponsored by Monsanto Industries, makers of great killer products like Roundup. Use it on pesky weeds or neighbors, and they'll be gone by morning.